You mentioned paid media in there, and said there are a lot more opportunities than just paid media. But I want to ask you, as somebody who represents a lot of paid media companies, is there unique value to paid media with all these other opportunities? Is there something that paid media has that makes it special still?
I mean, it's the bread and butter of this industry. If you don't, I saw a presentation once from I think from someone from Microsoft and saying that culture in advertising, including, kind of works with the principle of gravity, that mass attracts mass. So if you want to reach a lot of people with an unpaid way, you need paid media, but with a different, at least a different way of seeing that. As a, paid works as an amazing springboard to an idea to reach a massive audience very quickly, so that thing can spread from there. If you just take an idea, and trust me, I have tried that. You take something they feel like it's awesome, you put out in the world, and it just doesn't reach anyone. If an idea is not distributed properly, it goes nowhere, and I don't think anyone here is working to fall into a silent hole.
Yeah. Now, applications are one of the big components of advertising. Is how do you get applications developers, engineers, product developers to work at advertising agencies when they can go to technology companies and presumably get shares and have potentially great earnings? What's the attraction of an advertising agency or marketing services company?
I mean, this is actually a great question, because we have struggled with that in this industry, especially in San Francisco. Is a critical thing, because an amazing engineer living in San Francisco will probably go to work at Twitter, Google, Facebook, not at an agency, and that's one of the things that we coming from the digital world, the digital agencies that had all their developers internally. When we started our shop, I felt like let's break that and make even the digital side start to work like the traditional side as well. So when we keep talking about the future, sometimes it's good to go back to the past and learn from it as well. And it's easier to get an amazing world-class engineer to work at an amazing technology production company than work in an agency. So therefore, it's stop trying to do that internally. We decided to do that. We didn't hire any technology guy, any engineer, and we just go for world-class people around the world, in the US, in Singapore, in Brazil, in Italy, in England. There are amazing engineers out there kind of waiting for a chance to put their hands on something, on a great idea. They're there. If you don't try to bring them in, because again, if you bring them in, you start to create the problem that we were trying to get away in the very beginning.
Right.
That is having a monster that we have to feed. The moment I have 20 engineers, the next idea that I'm going to come bring to a client, I'm going to say, yeah, I have this idea that is awesome, and I have this idea that is almost awesome, that I can pay the salary of those 20 engineers. I'm going to go with 20, the almost awesome. That's what I didn't want to have. That's, for me, is the essence of being really agnostic, is not having the monster to feed.
So literally, there's a world of potential collaborators, partners out there on a project-by-project basis, and that's how you can source them, you can find them, you can work it that way.
Yeah, just like directors. When on the work that we do for Intel and Toshiba, it's like we had on the first one, it was the director of Disturbia. The second one was the director of Like Crazy. The third one was director of was Will and Josh that directed Blaze of Glory. And so they're world-class directors. Why can't we do the same with technology?
That's really interesting. I've never heard that one before, but of course, so you're kind of positing a future in a way in which there will be advertising technologists or engineers who are like the Joe Pitkas or Steve Horns of the world.
Exactly that. And then for those guys, there's an alternative. Now, maybe they're not going to work on a big portal in a big, gigantic company. They are going to have their own thing. They're going to innovate every single time and do things that are mind-blowing. Because then it becomes interesting for a curious mind. And I started my career as a programmer. I understand that mindset. I feel like it's way more interesting for a brilliant one to work at one of those places than with me. So just go there. I'm going to hire you when it's done, and we're going to collaborate the same way that I do with Joe Pickett.